Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kieran, and today, guys, I'm going to be talking to you about spiritual bypassing. Okay, now, spiritual bypassing, in my own words, is essentially the use of spiritual topics and labels to override or just go around emotional issues and trauma and things that we're experiencing. Okay, so I get a lot of this from sort of like fake spiritual people where they sort of give you like these little pithy quotes in order to like help you out or something like that, in order to take what you're experiencing and sort of minimize it and basically suggest that that everything is fine and that then there's no real need to experience what you're experiencing. Okay, it's almost like spiritual bypassing is a way to get around the experience itself in favor of a spiritual topic, label, or some kind of path. Okay, so a little example from a real world is, let's say, and let's hope this doesn't happen, but let's say that you're raped. Okay, and would you tell somebody, and they give you some sort of spiritual thing such as, oh well, everything happens for a reason, or your higher self wouldn't have done this, or the universe wouldn't have allowed this if it wasn't meant to happen, and all that kind of nonsense, right? Those ideas basically take the experience, the things that you would have gone through, that tragedy, and they minimize it. They take away what you're supposed to gain from it, what the experience, what the pain, the heartache, the tragedy, the shame, the everything that would go along with that. Now, I don't know, that's never happened to me, but whatever would go along with those types of tragedies, spiritual bypassing is a way of getting around that. Okay, so let's take a less serious example and let's focus on something like uh, something along the lines of being in a position in your life where you're struggling, okay, and there's some emotional issues that you're dealing with, but what happens is that you can easily start to identify with different things, to sort of make it seem like you're not really experiencing something and that you don't need to experience it. Okay, so if you're going through financial hardships, emotional hardships, what I see a lot of people do is that they chalk things up to some weird spiritual thing. Okay, and I see this a lot for people, that they use astrology as a way to explain what's going on, and not having to deal with it. Okay, I've seen this time and time and again where someone will be struggling, not really having found their place in life, and continuously trying to make things work. And they say things to me like, oh, well, that's because, Mercury's in retrograde, or Saturn is just did a hula hoop around the moon, or some weird shit. And you have all these little spiritual excuses, all these astrological things, and all these new moons and stuff like that. But what happens is that when you start using those as an excuse for the way that your life is playing out, you stop doing the work because you have a spiritual excuse to basically allow whatever's happening to continue to happen without having to do any real work. Okay, and that's really what it comes down to, is that you don't necessarily need to do that much in order to heal yourself, in order to feel better about yourself, in order to get what it is that you want. If your life is chaotic on the outside, it often means that there's something on the inside that's out of balance, something that is wanting to be expressed, wanting to be healed, wanting to be fixed, wanting to come out into a more authentic version. Okay, and what happens is that when you use spiritual bypassing, you're essentially saying to yourself, those feelings, those things, they don't really matter that much, because what's happening is this thing's happening. This moon, this planet, this retrograde, this part of the awakening process, all whatever. This my zodiac sign, all of this stuff to work around what you're actually dealing with. Okay, and that's really not a great idea. And I personally hate it when people give me pithy little things. I truly hate pithy quotes. I don't like them at all. I don't think they ever help. I think they're useless, and I think that they're just there to soothe the ego. I don't think they help as much as like a deep, detailed conversation. Okay, pithy little things like the universe has got your back, or it's darkest before the dawn. Those types of things, I don't like them very much, because what happens is that they do become an example of spiritual bypassing. You use them as a way to again, soothes the ego, makes everything seem like it's going to be okay, but without any real work being done, when you don't take what you're experiencing as something real and you use some kind of spiritual explanation for it, you stop taking care of yourself. You stop trying to go deeper. You stop trying to involve the deepest parts of your soul and try to bring it out into your life. What happens is when you chalk everything up to astrology or some other kind of weird explanation that's just other than what you're experiencing, you're not allowing yourself to fully integrate. Okay, because oftentimes it's just your experience that you need to live through. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, if you feel pain, it's not because of anything that's spiritual. You don't have to ignore it. You don't have to chalk it up to some sort of weird spiritual process and give other people fake positive advice that isn't going to help them, right? Because people do that to me. They'll give me the most fake positivity, those toxic positivity, acting like everything is supposed to be positive all the time. That's like a cornerstone of spiritual bypassing, but that's not true. That's not how it's supposed to work. Life is not perfect. Life isn't this amazing set of of things that happen to you. It's not that great, okay? Now, being alive is a privilege. It's something that you should be grateful for. Certainly, you can do anything you want in life. Well, not anything, obviously. I'm not going to be an astronaut, but you can do anything that you truly want to that really does resonate with you if you do it enough, okay? You'll find something. The point is that you can take something inside of you and have a reflection of it outside, okay? You at least have that ability. So when you give people the toxic advice, when people use spiritual bypassing as a way to help you or themselves or to explain everything, it doesn't allow for the truth of life to come out. You can't just label everything with a positivity stamp and just assume that everything's going to be okay, because that's not how it works. You need to experience life. So next time that you're having trouble, try to avoid the people that the spiritual people that just label everything, to just say, oh, well, that's because you're going through the Mercury retrograde. That doesn't help me, right? And I don't know if it helps you guys, but if I'm going through a legitimate personal crisis and I'm feeling the effects of something, right, and I'm reaching out to somebody and I'm trying to get help, it doesn't help me when somebody says, oh, don't worry, everything's, that's exactly how it's supposed to be because the planets or whatever, and that's just how it is, right? And so don't worry, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Just be grateful, keep your attitude up, and things like that. That isn't accurate. It's not a good way of helping somebody because it's fake. It's not real. It's not a real legitimate way of taking somebody's personal experience and transmuting it from pain to love. That's not how you do that, okay? And like a little real world example of this, I suppose, would be when people say to me, "Oh, your spirituality, your pain that you're going through, whatever it is that you're currently experiencing in the moment, that isn't as isn't as bad as you think it is." Okay, so they say things to me like, "Be grateful." Okay, uh, and the funny thing about being grateful is that being grateful doesn't necessarily get you more. Okay, again, pithy sayings, be grateful and everything will be fine. That's not the reality of life. Okay, being grateful is an attitude which may help you enjoy your present circumstance more. However, I have met people that are more humble than me, that are more grateful than me, that are more kind than me, and they are doing worse off in life than I am. Now, their attitude is great. They have a better attitude than me. Most certainly, they have a better attitude than me. They seem to be very happy, or they seem to be putting on at least a happy show. Um, but I've met some people in spiritual shops across the city that were so kind, so very, very grateful, amazing individuals, really, when you think about the stuff that they talk about. And these people are in their 40s and 50s, and they're some of them in their 60s, and I know a psychic in his 70s, and they're all poor. They're almost all broke. They barely made it. And this has nothing to do with COVID. It barely getting by. Don't have the jobs that would have made them more secure in this lifetime, right? They didn't have that, maybe the business sense, maybe a different part of their brain, maybe they didn't network properly. Who knows? But these are some grateful people. These are some kind people. These are some really nice folks, some really what you would call spiritual people. And they're doing worse off than I am, and they're basically, a couple steps away from being homeless. Being grateful has nothing to do with what's given to you, okay? It's what you take. All right, do you think somebody like Donald Trump is grateful? Do you think somebody who was born into some rich ass family is grateful? No, they're more than likely they're not grateful. I'm not saying that every rich person is a piece of shit. That's not objective at all. I'm saying that there are going to be people in this life who have everything, and there is going to be no gratefulness or humbleness or humility from them at all. Okay? Because either they took what they wanted or it was given to them anyway. In either case, they have everything that they need. So, when you have bypassing, people just say to you these little positive statements. If they don't hit home, if they don't get to your soul, if they don't really take you into a place of peace, then they're not really for you. You have an example of spiritual bypassing, okay? You can't work around the experience by just labeling something on it, putting a little stamp on top of it, putting a little bow, and just pushing it off to the side. That doesn't work. If you're experiencing pain, if you're experiencing some dark night of the soul energy, some depression, if you're struggling, if you're always anxious, if you're always in pain in the moment, if there's real struggles that you're experiencing, granted, they may be part of a higher purpose, and more certainly your higher self does know what's going on and it does know how to navigate out of it. That's true, but not as a result of some pithy little quote, not as a result of saying, of chalking it up to some spiritual occurrence, some planet position, some type of thing like that. No, that's not going to help you. That's not how you get through that experience. It just isn't. That's how your ego soothes itself, makes sense of maybe what's going on around it, but that's not what your soul truly needs. So if you are experiencing something, more than anything, what you need is compassion and love for yourself, and to be able to do what you would need to do in order to show that, whether that means talking to somebody, opening up, being vulnerable, journaling, meditating, being still, going for long walks, trying to understand yourself, trying to experience life, starting something new, doing a hobby, whatever it is that will put you more into your energy. Those are the things that you need to be doing, not ignoring the fact that you feel a certain way, not ignoring the fact that your life isn't going in the right direction, right? You can't just bypass everything with some little spiritual label thinking that it's all going to go away. And I really dislike it when people do that to me. What always helps me is when people communicate, when they talk, when you express, when you open about what you're experiencing, and you can work together with somebody, and they can listen, and they can bounce back ideas and reflect things, not just say, oh, that's because Mercury retrograde, or again, that's because some spiritual label, some spiritual explanation for everything oftentimes doesn't really help. So this is just a little video for you guys to just be wary of that, because it's something that I used to do for myself, okay? I'm not even talking about really other people. The worst thing that I did was use this on myself. Was if I was feeling pain or feeling sad, feeling alone, feeling scared, I wouldn't, I would sort of just chalk it up to something, to some spiritual process, to some little pithy thing. I would just tell myself, oh, darkest before the dawn, and just move on without ever really taking care of what was going on in my experience. I didn't take care of the present moment. I pushed it aside using a spiritual justification to do so, which allowed me to go into the future with the unresolved issues still there. Okay? So it's just a way to, I hope, get you guys to stop ignoring your current experience, whatever it may be, so that you have the ability and the courage to continue and to really get what it is that you need, either from yourself or from some external circumstance or person or thing. Okay, so that's essentially what spiritual bypassing is. Again, just a way of working around an experience using some sort of, using some sort of spiritual label, some sort of toxic positivity or such, to get away from that experience. So you could just keep on going. Okay, I've known people the people that always use this, that always do that, that always have these little spiritual excuses ready. Those are the people that I don't want to end up like, because those are the people that I see who have never found the job, who've never found the house, the home, never found their place in life, never found the stability, never found the right romantic partner. Every time, it's always those people who have been on this awakening journey for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Those people, don't listen to them. Go find somebody who has, or find somebody who is living out the life that you want, that you would like to live. That's the people that you should listen to, because those are the people who are going to help you, regardless of if they're spiritual or not. Find the people whose life you would like to mimic. Those are the people who are going to help you. Don't listen to the people whose life aren't in any shape or form what you want to be living, because chances are their perspective isn't going to be the one that you need to fill in those missing details. Okay? Anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video there. I hope that it helps. I'm not trying to be too harsh on everybody. I think a lot of us do this to some degree, especially as we try to make sense of stuff. So don't take it too harshly. We're all going on our own little journey here. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk soon. Okay, guys, bye-bye.